watch your treasures turn to gold. In every box there's a story to unfold. Hunting for that gem worth its weight in gold. Sharks cards specialized, ain't no need to fear. Whether you're a rookie or pro, we're right here. Listen to the show, dropping every other week. What cards to grab? Let's help your game peak. From the new releases to the classics that we chase, we'll guide you through the maze, put smiles on your face. Sharks cards, flip for gold. Great in that PSA. Watch your pro.
All right, you're kind of a little dark in the background there.
Yeah, I tried to put some. I got a light on order, but it hadn't shown up yet. I'll try to stay close to what am I in complete silhouette? It looks like it.
I can see you're just a little light. I often hey Joel, welcome in. I usually put like a towel or something over for a curtain on my back when it's real bright like that.
Okay, yeah, I'm in my mom's sunroom, so it's the best.
Yeah,
room.
I'm in my sunroom too here. I just use the card thing as a background. Otherwise, you'd see out the back window of my sunroom as well.
Okay.
All right, well, let's get started. Yeah, Joel's all over this here. Welcome in Sports Wise. Welcome in Ryan. Yeah, big news this morning. The kind of news heavy. Hulk Hogan died this morning. Did you see that?
You know, I was telling my mom that they come in threes, you know, because we had the kid from the Cosby Show, and then Ozzy Osbourne, and then Hulk Hogan, all like 80s legends, you know, back to back, all in the same week. Is pretty wild.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hulk, arguably one of the greatest of all time. You know, he's you know, die hard, and from my era, our generation, he's the greatest. Obviously, he did more for wrestling, bigger name in wrestling than anybody else in my generation. He got me hooked. You know, it was ripping the shirts off and Hulkamania and all that kind of jazz. You know, when you were kids growing up with your friends, you were wrestling around, nobody ever wanted to be anybody but Hulk, right?
Right. Well, I was partial to Ric Flair a little bit because I just loved his speeches.
Give out the oh
yeah, but I loved watching that stuff too. I'll never forget. Was it the WrestleMania 3 where he fought Andre the Giant? And I think I was like 10, you know. And
is that where he picked him up and body slammed him?
Yeah. That was
500 some pounds.
That was probably one of the biggest events in wrestling history. Still, I would think, but yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they'd had Tops Now cards back then?
Oh wow, yeah. I remember a year or two ago when you were talking about doing some kind of play with the Hulk Hogan yellow card. I think it was like that.
Yellow and blue background. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked into that.
I bought them with some gum stains on the back of them, really inexpensively, and then I Kurt's card cared them and took care of the gum stains. The stains came off beautifully.
Oh wow!
And took them from PSA 1s to PSA. One was a 5, one was a 6, so it was a very profitable play. But yeah, that was, and the yellow one had a little crease in it too, which was taken care of.
Now I pulled a $2 dollar box card about a year ago at a show of the guy that Hulk beat when he won the championship for the first time, the old Iron Sheik, and that guy was a trip too. I mean, he was hilarious. I think he finally passed away a few years ago, but I saw a documentary about him that was just crazy. Yeah,
I'd have to say, you know, Goldberg, Stone Cold, those guys were the next generation, but from my childhood, it was Hulk Hogan and George the Animal Steele hollering for Elizabeth.
Yeah,
those were my two favorites.
Yeah.
The other big news this morning, I don't know if you were watching my Instagram, Peter from SGC stepped down. Did you see that news?
I wake up in the morning. I like to watch the little usually every morning, Neo Cards and Comics puts up kind of an informational video. He had that this morning. I saw that right when I woke up. He had kind of a nice little interview with somebody at PSA. I forget who it was, but yeah. So
yeah, Ryan Hodge, he messaged me and I got the drop on him and I posted it to Instagram before he went live with Ryan this morning. But yeah, Neo's always got he's a great source for some news. He had a really good interview with Ryan talking about the future of SGC. For those that are interested, they can go check out Neo Cards and Comics. But just kind of to paraphrase, Ryan from PSA basically said that SGC is not going anywhere. They did steal some graders from SGC. They're trying to downsize SGC back to like a boutique type grading card service like they started out years ago, specializing in vintage, which they've been known for. And then they want to get their turnaround times down to 10 to 15 days, again, for those quick flip people. Sounds like they're trying to, they don't really care about the TCG business or anything else. So they're going to probably go from grading, 400,000 cards in a month. You might see them grading 40 or 50,000 cards in a month, but keeping that vintage feel to it. So it'd be interesting to see where Peter ends up next. He was a pillar in SGC's history and took that company to new heights. And I think a lot of people really had a lot of respect for him. I know I did. What he did during COVID times, I thought he directed SGC better than any of the other companies were able to do. So hoping that Peter lands on his feet somewhere. Kind of hope he does not go to CGC because I really do not like CGC. But that would be a logical move. If I was CGC, I'd be trying like crazy to get Peter to come on board with them because they need something to grow their sports cards. They just, their sports cards just don't, even their gold labels just don't bring a lot of money. So it'll be curious to see where Peter ends up. So you were telling me you are bringing today some NCAA women's basketball plays. Is that what I understand?
Well, I've been buying some. I'll show you. I've got 2 Silas Swords autos. They're the same one. I forget what you call that. It's that shiny silver. I don't know. I forget what that parallel is called. And then I've got a green Michaela Blake's, and then another one of those shiny silver Michaela Blake's. My Sarah Strongs are all at PSA. I have 3 autos of hers at PSA. The bad thing on these are all sophomores.
Yeah.
So what I probably think I'll do is sell the 9s on a performance spike and hold the 10. Like last year, I held all my Paige Becker's 10s for either when she won the championship or during the draft. And I made out like a bandit. I mean, I did really well. 900, I think I paid $120 for one of her numbered autos last summer and got $850 out of it, on the draft night. And I think that Lauren Betts might be the sneaky play for this year, although her autos are kind of hard. I've bought a couple. I've looked at a couple of them. They're hard to find gradable copies. I've looked and looked. She's tentatively probably the number 1 pick, I would bet. But it could be Ozzie Fudd. I think Flage is kind of a long shot, but she could potentially be. But I would bet it's Lauren Betts because she's so tall and she's such a scoring machine and rebounder and, so I think that at the National, I'm going to try to find some more Lauren Betts cards.
So what are you thinking? I'm really high. on a few basketball players too. Are there any other women's players that you are looking at besides those?
Um, that's really it. I kind of like that. What's her Audie Cooks, the Ohio State. She's a big girl. I was watching the highlights of the big tournament that just happened, the international tournament, and I was wondering why Sarah Strong wasn't playing, but she was on the 3-on-3 team, and they won everything. But it was Michaela Blakes and Hannah Hidalgo ran the show for USA. They whipped everybody. And Silas Swords is the point guard for Canada. And, she's with Michigan. And she looked really, really good too. But the other teams had pros, but the American team was the only team that had. I don't think they had any pros at all because they didn't stop the WNBA for that international tournament.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think Betts and Fudd are two of the top players. Flaugier, I've liked Flaugier now for 2 years. I've been buying her autos. I've probably got 6 of her autos. I
And
only
she's got
keep
that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I only keep the 10s, the 9s. If it doesn't 10, I sell it off right away. If it 10s, I hang on to it. But another player that I really liked that I really liked the way she developed last year, and I think she's a sneaky play for top 2 or 3 picks in the draft, is Tanaya
Oh
Latson out of
yeah,
South Carolina.
yeah. She transferred to South Carolina, right?
Right.
And then the one girl left South Carolina. Hot shot young guard. I forgot her name, but she left, and then they brought that girl in. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Latson. I think she could make a lot of waves here this year before the draft. And then one last, a little bit of a sleeper is Regan Beers out of Oklahoma.
Okay.
She's got a pretty good game as well. Really not expensive autos at this point. If you're looking to get into any of those.
I'm supposed to start doing some freelance work for the University of Arkansas athletic department. I'm actually the night after the national. I get from the national. I'm going to do my first Lady Back soccer game, but I'm supposed to do Lady Back basketball in the winter. And do you remember Lee Mayberry from?
Yeah.
He was with the Final Four with Arkansas. He's a legend around here. But they
Steve
brought
Day.
Todd Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought Mayberry's daughter in. She's a senior, but she transferred in, and she's supposed to be great. So I'm like hoping that she lights it up, but we'll see. The thing about Flaugier is she's I think the only LSU card she has is the Sports Illustrated for Kids card. That's it.
Yeah. She doesn't have much for cards right now, which is why I've been able to stock up pretty inexpensively for her.
She's like a celebrity too. I'm not much of a rap person, but I've listened to her rap, and she can rap. She's got talent.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the typically it's the players that score a lot that are going to be the ones that get all the media hype and attention. I think this is going to be a little bit of a down year for female basketball players. In terms of the draft, a little bit of a softer class, not the real soup. We've been blessed with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, even though Angel's not much of a scorer, she's a personality, right? And the two of them with their feud that they've got, that's really helped take basketball to a new level. And then you've got Paige, which is breaking all of Caitlin's records. So those two have really helped take women's basketball to a new level. Joel you can see Joel online here commenting some players' names. He likes Audie Crooks and Michaela Fulwiley.
That's the girl that left South Carolina, and they brought in Tania Latson.
Yep. So Joel and I talk a lot about women's basketball. He's big into the women's basketball. So I think there are certainly some plays to be made. Very thankful for what Caitlin has done for women's basketball, giving us another opportunity to have a sport that gives us the opportunity for some flips. There will be a Caitlin Clark play in my plays today. When we get to those, I do have, I believe, 13 plays that we'll do at the end of the show today for those that want to stick around and make some money. Over on Instagram, we've got Card Room Teacher joined us, and Sportwise is saying Toby Fournier, and then saying that Full Wiley went to LSU.
That's going to be dangerous with her at LSU.
Yeah, so LSU could be a scary women's basketball team again this year.
Oh yeah. I went to see the game last year when they played Arkansas and saw Flage and Kim Mulkey with their crazy coat, and that was, I mean, they kicked the crap out of them. They beat them by like 50 points, but I had a hard time not cheering for LSU, because I'm born and raised in Arkansas, but it was fun to watch. I think next year Vanderbilt comes in and South Carolina, so I'm gonna try to go to both of those.
Yeah, the reason that I like Flage, I don't think she's the best basketball player out there, but neither was Angel Reese. I like Flage because of her followers that she has on Instagram. She has arguably the largest following of anybody left in college basketball right now. Her Instagram is just absolutely huge.
And Angel's been tearing it up the past few weeks. I think she's getting a double-double like nearly every night. I'm going to the game in Chicago a week from Sunday, the night before I go home. Me and an old buddy lives in the city are going to go to the Dallas Wings and Phoenix, whatever they are, game.
So after we have a little bit of a down year this year for women's basketball, with Betts probably leading the way, next year is going to be next year. There's a lot of really good players that could be in next year, the following year, that is, headlined, of course, by none other than Juju Watkins. I'm still big into Juju. I thought her stuff would dip more than it has with her injury being out of the spotlight. It dropped about 20% or so, and then it flatlined. It just never. I was hoping that people were going to be down on her being out the whole year, and that her stuff would just free fall. I was hoping for 50-70% drop, and it just never happened. Maybe as the women's season gets started, you might see her stuff drop a little bit more as people start focusing on the players that are playing. But don't forget about Juju, because she still is, when healthy, she is the best women's basketball player in college right now, as far as I'm concerned. She was right there with Paige and Caitlin in terms of star ability. So that's another one to watch.
I feel like the women in college these days are way better at being celebrities. Like they're so much more famous than, I mean, if you look at like the top 5 girls out of the last Bowman set, they typically sell better than anybody not named Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
I mean, those are
the TV ratings for women's basketball is higher than most men's basketball right now. That women's basketball is at an all-time high, and it continues to grow. And it's a shame that Caitlin got hurt and couldn't challenge Sabrina for the 3-point contest. But that was still, All-Star Weekend was still very successful. It was highly watched. I thought the 3-point contest was done very well. A couple of players stepped up there. And of course, Sabrina winning it was very fitting. Sabrina was one of the 2 or 3 best players in the WNBA prior to, this new wave of players that are coming in, her and Wilson. But yeah, so it's just been kind of fun to watch.
Definitely.
Well, we've got the national coming up next week already. Man, has that crept up on us fast. I don't know where summer is going, but it is going way too fast for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to imagine that we're a week away from August, which is just crazy. But with the national, I gave a few tips the last time we were on. I saved probably the two most important tips for this episode. So hopefully, if you watched the last one, you're watching another one. Sports wise, before we get into the tips here, sports wise is mentioning incoming freshman Aaliyah Chavez is crazy good, and yeah, she's got all the hype on her as well. So it'll be
She went to
fun to watch
Oklahoma,
her for
right?
the next 2 or 3, 4 years.
She went to Oklahoma, didn't she?
I'm
Isn't that her?
not. I think so. I think
Okay,
so.
I think I recognize that name going to Oklahoma.
But yeah, Chavez is going to be another electric women's basketball player as she makes her way through the ranks. But all right, so the tips for the national for next week. If you're attending the national, I will be there on Friday and Saturday. If anybody wanted to message me, if they wanted to say hi or meet me or talk to me at the national, I will be there Friday and Saturday, hoping to come down on Friday and stay for one of the trade nights Friday night before heading home. I'm going to drive home both nights. It's only a little over a 2-hour car ride for me, so I don't need to spend the money on a hotel room. And then Saturday, I plan on coming down, hopefully with both of my sons. I'm going to meet up with one or both of the days. There'll be, I know one of the guys that I've had on the show here before, Hitman. Him and his son are hoping to meet up with me down there. I know, Bo, we're hoping to meet up. You're going to be there as well, right?
Oh,
So
definitely.
we'll hoping to meet up with you on Friday or Saturday
Let's
or
definitely
both.
get some lunch.
Yeah, definitely. So hoping to find some deals as well. But here's the two most important things for the national with the tips that I've given in the past. Go back and watch the last show for some tips. But here's some of the ones that I think are the two most important. Number one, shoes. Forget about cards. Shoes is probably the single most important thing you need to know about the national. You are going to walk what is the equivalent of probably 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 miles in a day. That's how many steps you're going to be taking. Last year in the one day, I'm sorry, not last year, I didn't go to Cleveland. 2 years ago, on the one day that I wasn't in the booth for the show I used to be on, when I spent the one day walking around. I logged 37,000 steps in one day. So that's the type of walking that you can expect down at the National if you've never been there. This is so large and so big. Shoes. Wear comfortable shoes, shoes that are not, don't wear sandals, don't wear something that's tight, don't wear something that's going to give you blisters on your feet. Wear something comfortable. A very nice, don't worry about what you look like. Style points don't get you anything at the National. Make sure the shoes are comfortable. The second most important tip I can give you at the National is going to be make sure that, because the National has said the building, they just upgraded the air conditioning for the building, which is huge because 2 years ago the one day was just absolutely brutal. And they've upgraded the Wi-Fi down there so that people's Wi-Fi should be working on their phones. You never know what you're going to come across at a National. You go in there with the best laid intentions. You have your 3 to 5 cards, like I've said before, or 3 to 5 things that you're looking for, and you run across something unexpected. Make sure that you have phone with data, and make sure that you bring a charging stick with you. You will be amazed how fast your battery runs down when you're on it, constantly checking comps and looking things up on your phone. The National will chew your phone up quickly. So make sure that you do not get surprised by anything that you find at a table, and that your battery, if it runs out, you've got a charging stick that you can get a full nother charge of battery while you're at the National. Do not run out the battery on your phone. So walking shoes and an extra battery stick for charging for your phone, two most important things that you can take into the National. Welcome in, Mark. Mark is saying, heard it's the best place to sell is trade nights. Repackers off 90%. Is this true? I found vendors to only offer 70. Mark, 2 years ago at one of the trade nights, I got bought out. I only brought about a dozen cards. They were higher end cards. I did not bring them into the show hall. I left them locked in the trunk of my car so that nobody would break into my car, in a locked container in my sealed trunk. And I got them out for the trade night. And I can tell you that I got offered 95% comps. The guy said, I'll take all 12 cards. I was sold out of cards within the first 30 minutes of the trade night. So yes, it is not uncommon. If you've got the cards that they're looking for, 90, 95, sometimes even 100% of comps, they will pay you. They'll pay you cash. The more cards that you have that they want, the more likely that they will pay a higher percentage. If you've got onesie twosies, they're probably going to be 85 to 90%. If you've got 5, 10, 15, 20 cards, they're going to be 90 to 100% of comps, and they'll take it all.
I've never been, but one friend of mine told me to make sure that I have prices on everything before I go, because the internet could go out. And then if you're trying to look up prices, to have like all your comps figured out before you go to trade night. That way you're not trying to look stuff up if the internet goes out.
Yeah, that's another good tip as well. If you want, the internet, again, they up the National. That was the temperature and the internet were the two biggest complaints in Chicago 2 years ago. And because the National is at Chicago the next several years, they've made a big effort. They put in an all new air conditioning unit just a month ago, and they upgraded and boosted the Wi-Fi capabilities of the building. So hopefully Wi-Fi doesn't go out, but if it does go out, yes, you either need to have a cheat sheet of knowing what you want or comps for your cards, putting a price on it with a sticker, something like that. What I've done in years past is I take one of those little round orange stickers and put it on the sleeve of the graded card, to put them in a plastic sleeve, and then put the sticker on the sleeve, and I'll write the most recent comp with the date. So if the last comp was $320 on July 17th, I'll put $320 July 7/17, just so I know that was when that most recent comp was. But those are shoes and internet and having that extra charging stick, the most important things that you can possibly do at the National. Mark is asking where the trade nights are at this year. All right, so there are several. There's two of the local hotels that will be having trade nights. If you follow Filmington or Teapot or the boys from California, the SSP boys, they do their Thursday night podcast. They're going to be having their trade night, I believe, starting at 7:00 at their hotel lobby. The trade night that I'm going to be attending, Mark, will be 6:00. So the show shuts down at 5:00. At 6:00 upstairs at the convention center, where the VIP lounge is, the VIP lounge will be opened up, and the trade night will be in the VIP lounge upstairs at the convention center starting at 6 p.m. on Friday night. So that's the one that I plan on attending. I don't plan on going to the ones at the hotels, but there are 3 other trade nights that I am aware of from other people's podcasts. The most popular one is probably Filmington's. A lot of people will attend that just because there'll be a lot of big social YouTubers there that, if nothing else, they just want to go meet them in person and get to say hi and take a picture with them and that kind of stuff. But I'm sure there'll be some money flowing at any trade night. And yes, trade nights are a great place to sell your inventory. So I don't, and I never have in the 20 plus years I've been attending nationals. I've never taken cards into the show ever. I leave them out in the car if and I leave them locked in the trunk, and I do it before I get there because I don't want anybody seeing me putting anything in the trunk, as cars have been broken into, hotel rooms have been broken into. You've seen YouTube stories of people stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cards from the showroom hall. So you do have to be careful if you're bringing some high-end cards, but I leave them in the car. If I need them, I can always go get them. Otherwise, I'll get them before the trade night, and then that's where I get rid of everything. Will be at the trade night. So, all right. Do you have anything else before I get into some plays here, Bo? Anything else you want to cover?
I was watching the Off Centered show last night with Neo Cards and Comics and a few other guys, Flip and Steve, and they had the guy that showed the map off of the whole venue, and it looked like there's a VIP party on Wednesday from 10 a.m. till the show opens. And I'm trying to find out if that's actually true, because my plane lands at 9 a.m. and I can't check in till 3. And I thought, heck, I could at least kill some time before, but I'm trying to find out if that's actually true.
Typically, if you get the VIP lounge does open up several hours before the show hall. And the VIP lounge will be upstairs from the show hall. Have you ever been to the Chicago National at the convention center?
This is my first national ever. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So when you come in to the national, that main level, there'll be a VIP in the bathrooms and stuff like that upstairs. Then you're going to walk down 2 really long hallways to get to the center of the convention center, and then you'll take an escalator downstairs to the main lobby, or you can walk in from the street level as well. Usually if you're parking at the hotel parking lot or parking ramps across the street, you're taking the skywalk over the top. So you're coming in at the VIP level. If you come in at the street level, you'll have to go up the stairs or the elevators. And then, of course, the main lobby, there'll be people in the main lobby an hour or 2 before the show opens, and there'll be deals, transactions happening there as well. People are there to move and show off their cards, so that's what they do. But the VIP hall usually does open up prior. I did not do VIP this year. I just did basic tickets for Friday and Saturday because I wasn't going to be there for all the days. But do you have a VIP pass?
Yes. And I saw they sold out.
Yep. So if you got a VIP pass, you should be able to get into the VIP hall several hours before the show opens.
Nice.
All right, let's get into some plays. See if we can help everybody make some money here. All right, so the first play up is, I've had this play on here before, only it's with the orange. This time we're doing the green. This is the 2019 Prism card number 8, Kobe Bryant. As you can see, there have been some wild swings in the last 30 days, but there's only 4 transactions on it. So if you stretch it out a little bit, go out to 90 days, you can see the trend line there on that. I like to look at the average. The average is $16.50 over the last 90 days, but the most recent sale was $24, which is almost the high point. And that's okay. If you got to pay $24 for it, you're going to be fine, because a PSA 9, the most recent sale, was $49.50. So you'll about break even, maybe lose eBay fees on a PSA 9. On a PSA 10, it's $120. So you're looking at making some pretty good money on a PSA 10 and breaking even on a PSA 9. All right. Next up is 2022 Prism Chet Holmgren. This is the Blue Wave, card number 266. Most recent sale on this card was also $24, which is up almost $10 from the 30-day average. So if you stretch it out to 90 days, the 90-day average is still only $14. So somebody way overpaid for this most recent sale at $24. I would try and target this card in that $14 to $18 range. As long as you can get it for around $20 or so, you're fine. The PSA 9 sells for $55, which will be a wash, and a PSA 10 sells for $100. I forgot to mention on the Kobe Bryant, the gem rate is 60.9%. The gem rate on this Chet Holmgren Blue Wave is 39%. So a decent gem rate to try and get some money back in your pockets. Now, for those that have been asking, gem rates have come down. So if anybody's noticed this, the gem rates have come down a little bit with PSA's new centering. It's not new. They're just enforcing it with a lot of their new graders. But what that's done is it's risen the price of the PSA 9s to where 9s used to be the cost of a raw. Now you're starting to see the 9s with a little bit of a premium. So PSA 9s are starting to go back to the way it was, where it's your raw plus a grading fee or even a little bit higher. And PSA 8s are now starting to be closer to what raw grades are. So it is true that the grading has adjusted a little bit, but that's taken into account with all of these. All right, so the next one up is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, fresh off the NBA championship, fresh off MVP for the season, MVP for the NBA finals. And what does that mean for his card prices? Take a look here. His card prices are down. They're down 29% in the last 30 days on a PSA Silver. The OKC is going to be in contention again next year and for years to come. They've locked up their core. They're going to be contenders for several years to come. So Shea is going to rebound in price as the season comes back. So right now is a great opportunity. I just bought one of these myself last night, and I posted it to Instagram. This here, if you look, 50 sales in the last 30 days. So it's relatively easy card to come by for being a 2018. The most recent sale here was $130. That's because it has not registered my sale. I paid $150 last night. The 30-day average is $166, so I felt good about my $150 purchase because it looked good and the centering was good. PSA 9 sells for $229. So even paying $150 last night, I'm going to turn a profit on this if I get a 9. If I get a 10, which is only a 16% chance, should I get a 10, it's a $988 card, and that's come down. That's prior to what it was at the season. It had gotten up to as high as $1,400 during the finals run. So this card's got a lot of runway and a lot of room to climb back up there again. So if you can afford, it's the most expensive card on the list today. If you can afford to go that route, that card has a lot of money-making potential. All right, next card up. We're going to stick with Shea. We're going to go with the Optic Shock. Most recent sale, $69. Again, you can see the most recent sale jumped up quite a bit from the 30-day average. 30-day average is $53. If I click on 90 days, 30-day or 90-day average is $65. So, which is pretty close to the $69 most recent sale. The PSA 9 sells for $88. So again, you're pretty close to a wash on a 9. The PSA 10 is $218 and has a 33% chance. Again, the numbers that you're hearing, guys, on the dollar amounts, these are post-finals sale prices. These have come down a lot since the finals. I fully anticipate Shea cards to heat back up as the season gets closer. Now is the perfect time if you've ever wanted to buy and make money on a Shea Alexander card. This is the time to be doing it. So in that light, we're going to talk about one more Shea card. I can't actually, two more Shea cards, but one more right here. This is his Prism base. Most recent sale, $16. The 30-day average is $22. The 90-day average is $24. So expect to pay $15 to $25 for this card. This card has a PSA 9 of $39. So if you're paying $20, you're probably going to lose $5 to $10 after fees on a 9. PSA 10 is $128. It has a 29% gem rate. But again, I think that this PSA 9, by the time that you get these back, I think that that'll pop back up because it is currently at $39, but the PSA 9s were as high as $60 during the finals. I don't expect them to get back to that level by the beginning of the season, but I do expect them to pop back up as the season gets closer in October. All right, here is the one of the Caitlin Clark cards that I told you about. This is the WNBA Prism card number 1. This is the fractal parallel. 95 sales in the last 30 days, so very easy card to come by. The card is down 7% in the last 30 days, which is good because these cards are starting to come down a little bit as more and more of them hit the market. A PSA 9 is $60, so you're actually going to turn a small profit to break even on a PSA 9, which is what I look for when I'm looking for grading plays. I like to have a floor that allows me to not have a lot of risk involved. And a PSA 10 is $149, so you're going to triple your money on a PSA 10. Nice way to be able to get into a Caitlin Clark without having to spend a whole ton of money. All right, I have one more Shea play for you. This is the base Shea Optic. Most recent sale, $19. 30-day average, $19. So it's staying pretty steady right around that $20 mark. PSA 9 is $45, so a wash on a PSA 9. PSA 10 is $120, and it's got a 45% gem rate. So again, not huge margins, but in bulk, this is a card that transacts often. This is a card that you can turn, $100 or $200 bankroll into $300 or $400 pretty easily with hand picking the right cards and sending them in and getting them graded. That's the one nice thing about attending the National is you attend a card show and you can see stuff in person and you can look the cards over a little bit better in hand and typically get a little bit of a discount for cash. All right, next up, 2018 Optic Base Luka. $25 is the most recent sale on this card. PSA 9 sells for $58. So again, break even to a small profit. 10 sales in the last 30 days, so it's not impossible to come by. The 30-day average is $35, so you might want to figure on paying closer to $35-40, in which case then a 9 is going to be closer to an even or $5 to $10 loss after fees. But that card is going to get you a nice net return, especially if you can get a 10, and it does have a 40% gem rate as the season approaches. Another card we have here should be, I believe this will be the Brunson. Yep. So this is Jalen Brunson. This is his Optic Hollow. You can see the most recent sale was $15.56. When you look at the 30-day average, there's only one card sold in the last 30 days. So this card might be a little bit harder to come by, which is good because scarcity, of course, helps raise prices. So I did a 1-year look. I just wanted to look at the fall. He was one of the hottest players in the offseason last year. So I wanted to see where this offseason compared to last offseason, and he is down significantly. 52% this card is down since this time last year, which I think makes a great buying opportunity for this cards. The Knicks should be back in contention again next year. Don't know if they're going to make it to the finals, but you don't need them to. You just need Brunson to play well. PSA 9, $40. So if you buy one for $15, you're going to wash on a PSA 9. PSA 10 is $180. You see that nicer, bigger increase because there's not as many of them on the market. So finding something like that that's a little bit harder to find helps bring up the prices when you do get a 10. A little bit of scarcity can really help the card prices when you hit that 10. Get a much bigger return on investment. All right, we got Cade Cunningham. Another hot topic leading into this next offseason or this next season and this current offseason. Cade Cunningham 2021 Prism 282 Pink Ice. Most recent sale, $11.50. 5 sales, so about one a week in the last 30 days. $20 is the 30-day average. When you go to 90 days, the 90-day average is also about $20. So although right now the most recent sale was 11, you probably got to figure I'm paying closer to $20 to get that card. Most recent PSA 9 sale was $48. So if you pay $20, you're going to bust even on a PSA 9. PSA 10 is $112. This card has a 51% gem rate. So when you take a look at some of these plays that I'm presenting, a 51% gem rate is very high. For a $10 to $20 entry price, if I could find 2 or 3 or 4 of these, I might buy them all, hope for that 50% gem rate, and that's where you can really start increasing profits, is by grading in bulk plays, meaning that you're doing more than one of a card, which increases your chances of the 10s as well. It's strictly a numbers game when it comes to grading. This one here might surprise a few of you on this list, as he's currently hurt. He's out for the season. Jason Tatum, very collectible. One of the faces, top 10 or 15 players in the NBA. The Celtics were relevant, and now they're not. Injuries, trading people away. He's going to be out of the spotlight, which I think gives Jaylen Brown the opportunity to really shine this year. So I'm very high on buying Jaylen Brown cards. I just don't have any on this list. Browns are cheap enough that I'm actually not doing the raw to grade with Jaylen Brown. I'm actually buying PSA 10s already graded a Brown. Takes the risk factor out, and the cards are cheap enough that the margin should be there. This is the 2017 Prism red, white, and blue card number 16. Most recent sale was $53.88. Call it $54. The card is down 51% in the last year. So the reason I didn't do 30 days, when you look at 30 days, again, it's only one sale in 30 days. So it's a little bit harder card to come by. But it is down 52%, 51% in the last year, which gives you an opportunity while he's injured to buy his cards up and get them graded. A PSA 9 is $150. So if you buy this card for 50 and it gets a 9, you're going to double your money after grading fees. That's why I really like this play. Not super expensive. It's about at its low point. It's not going to get any lower than this, I don't think. Injury is old news. Season is up and coming. Really like Jason Tatum, especially this play for making some money. I believe I have 2 plays to go here, Bo. All right. I had to throw in a Victor card just because you can't have a raw to grade and not talk about Victor. Victor Wembanyama coming off the season-ending injury last year. His stuff is down. Of course, a lot of his stuff was released last year, so it was higher. So it's coming down. This is the Blue Reactive Mosaic. Might be surprised not to see an Optic Hollow or a Prism Silver to see a Mosaic card, but this one of the Victor cards right now, this card gives you the best opportunity to get a good return on your money. $21 most recent sale. 30-day average is only $15. When you look at the 90-day average, it's still $15. So I would look to spend $15 to $20 on this card. The PSA 9 is $46, so you're breaking even on a PSA 9. The PSA 10 is $86, so it's not as huge of a return. You're only doubling your money, but very inexpensive way to buy yourself into some Victor Wembanyama, and it has a 63% gem rate. I don't remember if I covered the gem rate on Jason Tatum, but Tatum was a 37% gem rate. 63% gem rate for Victor Wembanyama. That is the highest gem rate of any card on this list today. So that is why I put it on. You can get yourself some Victor and you can get some PSA 10s where you can double your money at a 60% clip. Here again, when you're talking about a $15 to $20 buy-in, guys, this is one where if I could find 5, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 of the same card from a guy, I would buy them all and take my chances getting them graded. And then last but not least is Anthony Edwards. Had to put an Anthony Edwards card on here as his cards really seem to fluctuate big from season to season. They drop hard in the offseason and they rise big during the season. He is electric. He is kind of the new face of the NBA. $9.69 is the raw sale. There have been 193 sales of this card in 30 days. This is a 5-year-old card, and it's still transacting 193 times in 30 days. Very, very popular, very liquid card, which is why I put it on the list. PSA 9 is only $31. So you spend 10, you're going to have 35 with shipping and grading. You're going to lose $5 to $7 on a PSA 9 if the prices don't come up at the beginning of the season, which I think they will. PSA 10 is $100, and it's got a 36% gem rate. So there again, guys and gals, I would buy 3, 4, 5 of these at $10 a piece. Send them in, and if you get 2, if you can average 40%, get 2 out of 5. Buy 5, get 2 of them at 10s. In the long run of things, you're going to more than double your money, and that's a quick way to grow a bankroll from $100 or $200 to $200 to $400 to $500. It's just an easy way to take your bankroll and get it larger so you can dabble in some of the bigger plays. So I hope those plays made sense. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, if you make some of those plays, share them with me. Let me know how you did. I'm always curious to hear. I know a lot of you message me and say, thanks. I got this. I made this. I really appreciate that. It's fun to hear how you guys are making money off my plays. So anything else that you've want to talk about today, Bo? Or
I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
So I got a 10-pack of these in the mail today. This is the Topps Now draft
night.
Ace Bailey. I ordered 10 Bailey and 20 flags, but the flags aren't supposed to be here till Saturday. do you think I should grade any of these or just sit on them and wait and see how he does? You know, I've heard that he's not happy about going to Salt Lake at all. And they were saying that he was playing crappy on purpose, trying to get moved to a different team. You know, I don't know, but I was thinking maybe just put him away and see how it goes and make a decision later.
Yeah, Ace Bailey is. I said he's the wild card of this draft class. Super uber talented, but disappears for weeks on end. Emotional, a little bit of a head case. Did not want to go to Utah, so he's kind of pouting. If he decides he wants to put on a display, he could really get some ESPN highlight dunks. Could really get some media hype quickly. Was that the Tops one, not the Panini?
The Tops one.
Yeah, I didn't buy any of the Tops ones this year because they were unlicensed. So I waited and I bought some of the Panini ones. But I did buy 5 Ace Bailey myself. I plan on grading them all. If you got 10 of them and you send them in, chances are you're going to get at least 8, at minimum 8 10s on the Tops now. Those tend to grade 90+%. You might get all 10 10s.
And then just wait for him to have a 30-point game.
If you bought 10 of them, you probably are into them for what, about $8 a piece?
8 or 9.
$9 a piece with grading fees. So you'll be about $33 with shipping and grading to get them back. I gotta think that they're gonna sell for at least $40 on a 10, 35 to $40. I mean, if you get them graded, I gotta think that you're at least gonna break even on the 10s. And if he gets a little bit of hype and he decides to show his talents because he wants to get traded somewhere or something of that nature, and he has a little bit of hype behind him, you could see that, shoot up to 50, 60. I could see $60 to $70 for the PSA 10s. If you want to take a look and see what the current sales rate is on eBay for the raws, you could do that. Oftentimes, the raw will sell for $10 to $15. So you could really look them over. If there were 1 or 2 you didn't think would grade well, you could try and sell them raw and break even on them, that way. But those top players, typically, if you grade them, I grade them all and take my chances that it's you would like to think that a lottery pick will sell, a PSA 10 will sell for $40. You don't get rich at $40. You make $4 or $5 a piece, but $5 a piece times 10, if you threw an extra $50 in your pocket, that's not the worst thing in the world.
I'm also thinking about, I don't know, tell me what you think about this, of sending 5 of the Cooper flags to Beckett in hopes for a black label. Because I do really well with the Tops now. I've got a 95% gym rate when I go to PSA. And I thought about, a little gambling and seeing.
Yeah, I've got a buddy of mine that tried that last year, and he said he was going to do it. So he sent in his Tops Now Caitlin Clark's to Beckett. He sent in 10 of them, and he ended up with 3 gold labels, black labels. So he had 3 black labels. He had 3 black labels, three 10s, and then he had 4 9.5s. But the 3 black labels he figured ended up being his best play of the year last year. So it's not a bad thought on the Cooper flag, especially if you got 20 of them. To take a handful, 5 of them or 10 of them, and throw them there that way.
Saturday, so I was thinking about doing 5 to Beckett and then take the 15 leftovers along with 5 of these Ace Baileys and then just send that in as a 20-card bulk play.
Yeah.
Probably won't lose any money. Or
no, the Cooper flags you're not going to lose money on at all. Like right now, the Cooper flags, I hate the fact that people do pre-sale PSA 10s. Like
oh yeah,
I wish eBay would crack down on that. Because they'd have no idea how many 10s they're going to have. So how can they pre-sell something they're not guaranteed to have? I don't know. I think that's a crock. I wish eBay would cut down on it. eBay, if you're listening, get rid of the pre-sale graded singles. I don't like the pre-sale singles non-graded either, where you're selling something a month before you get it. I'm not a fan of that either. It's one thing to pre-sale factory sealed products, but opened products like that, I'm not a fan of it. But anyways, back to the pre-sale 10 graded 10s right now are selling for about $85 to $90 for the Cooper flags. So I anticipate that's going to drop a little bit as the more hit the market, but I could see it settling in at $70 to $75 a piece. So if you got 30 to 32 to 30, let's just say $35 a piece in them, and you could sell them at $75. If I were you, I'd send whatever you don't send to Beckett, I'd send all the Cooper flags in. I just don't see you. I don't see you losing money on a graded Cooper flag coming back from Beckett before the season starts.
Especially with the Topps ones. I mean, on the Panini ones, I ordered 2 of the draft night from Panini, the 25. So I've got 50 of them, and the Topps ones. I'm having like maybe less than half of them I've actually been sending in because the centerings are so bad. I mean, I had a big dent in one of my Paige Becker's draft night cards.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's the qualities. So
well, if you look them over, the ones that look gradable, I'd send all the ones that look graded in because I can't see you losing money on that play.
Cool.
Mark was saying here before we take off, he's saying he's leery on buying into more Caitlin Clark at this time. Seems that if you bulk grade, the season will be over. Prices have to drop at some point. He's guessing they'll drop in the off season. You could be right there, Mark. I just think that the hype is so high on Caitlin and the margins are so big on the 10s that even if they drop 10 or 20%, you're still banking money on a 10, even in the off season. So Caitlin is a year-round buy for me. I'm not letting up on Caitlin. I'm not worried about it unless she has a season-ending injury, which she's had a couple of scary injuries so far. If you could get them back, I might even pay, where they've shortened up to 45 days now for the $25 fee grading, the Value Plus at PSA. I might even spend that if I had a Caitlin play, because if you could get them back in time for the WNBA playoffs, if she's healthy and playing in the playoffs, you could really see a nice spike in her cards with a few big games and a few big wins. So I'm not out on, I hear what you're saying, Mark, but I'm not out on Caitlin yet. Not yet. A little too early to pull out on Caitlin. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody for joining us and sticking with us here for this last hour. See, there are a lot of people I didn't name out on Instagram that joined us. Appreciate everybody that joined us. As always, feel free to reach out to Bo or I on Instagram. Shoot us a message. If you got questions, there's a topic you'd like to see in a future show, or if you want to meet up with Bo or I, we will both be at the National this next week. Look forward to meeting quite a few at the National. And until next time, have a great week, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Be safe.